Welcome to part 10 of our Enderwire build series. So, yeah, I was quite a bit busy since last week. Nothing major changed, but I redid a couple of things we did on the stream. Mostly, I'm not quite sure why I had in my brain that we needed a relay to turn on and off the printer. We don't. Basically, we just power the main boards full time. It doesn't really matter. So we don't need a relay. That's out. Secondly, I was redoing the cable channel. So basically the problem was, with the first iteration was that we didn't have any anchor points to like tie down cables. The screw holes were horribly misaligned. So like for the right side, we only had one screw that was aligned with the V slot because there's this cutout. And yeah, like the top fell off all the time. So a couple of things that we need to fix. And in the end, I just redid the entire thing. It looks more or less like before. Also one main difference is like before we had like a little bit of like, you see like here is a little tunnel now. So we can put through cables here. Notably the USB cables need to go to the Pi. That was before on top, but then basically it's kind of hard to like keep the cables in the middle when you want to put on the cover. So now it just goes on, yeah, below the cable channel. So you just pass them through and then like, yeah, can't go anywhere. It's one thing. It's also quickly that. So yeah, I now have little snap fits here. Shows up. Yeah, there you can see like the little like hook. So this like hooks into place. And I also added like a middle separator here. Basically those like, just like to keep the, yeah, not sure, just like to being able to organize the cables a bit more. So all the cables from power supply I just keep on this side here and then like the rest goes on top. But I broke off the middle posts in this area because there's just like too much stuff going on. But yeah, so you also now see that, let's just quickly zoom in here. So I added those cable tie points. You see here this cable bundle is tied down here, so this is now a little bit like secure, and then from here we can like organize all the cables out. So there's one thing. The posts are a little bit like smaller size-wise, but doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, and then you see like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here, just to like keep this down. Like you don't need 4, but technically 2 would have been enough. But it's now also is on this side, so we have here 2 screws, and here it's that cutout basically. And also here we have the cable tie point. So yeah, that's the new cable channel. Then just below, what I also added is Wago mounts here. So I went with 3 blocks of 5. Blocks of 5 is what I had. 3 because I want to have 1 for 24 volts. So basically you see the cable here coming from the power supply. This will go here. This is a 24 volt cable from the printhead. That also will go into this block for a constant 24 volts. We had this before up here in this block, but it wanted to have a little bit like less cable here because of the AC wiring. And also like this cable was quite short for reaching up there. So having it now here on the Wago terminal is way better. So these 2 will go there. Then we have one which will be for ground. So basically we'll just run the second cable from power supply to ground here. And then the third one will be 5 volts. So basically down here we still have our 2 buck converters. So originally my idea was like to use 1 to power the relay exclusively and 1 to power the Pi exclusively. The Pi will still have its own one. So basically this one directly will power the Pi. The second one will just feed the Wago block on top. So if we need 5 volt for anything, we can grab 5 volt from there. I think this will come in handy for a couple of times. Like technically, now that I thought about this, I think this cable here is a 5 volt, which we at the moment grab from the main board. I think it's fine, but technically we could also not grab it from the Wago block. But yeah, I want to add more LEDs later on. So it's good to just have like separate 5 volt power source. Yeah, so that's the Wago block. And then the eagle-eyed amongst you might have spotted that I also worked on the power supply. I don't have it here anymore, but we had this like super crappy cover here and we zip tied the fan there and it wasn't nice. So it's not like a custom-made cover I designed this week. I had to print it in 2 parts and glue it together in the middle because the only other print I have is 3.0 and this is a bit too big. But yeah, so this is like now covering, 4 screws on the side. I just used the 3D model from the Enderwire. Hi Joe! I just used the model from the Enderwire and came with the 3D model of the power supply, modeled it there. Yeah, so we also have the 80mm fan now, and I added, which you can see it on camera, it's all black of course. But yeah, I added like a little bit of like a like spacer here. The reason is that the 80mm fan I'm using here is only 15mm, and it's a 5mm razor, so we have 20 in total. And now we have the perfect height that the fan just docks against the bottom panel. So what you can do later is basically we just mark the middle of the fan, and I have a not sure what they call like those like large drills with which are empty in the middle or like hollow in the middle. So basically you can just drill out like a 80mm hole in the bottom panel, and then the fan will just suck in like fresh air, push it through the power supply, and then we have the little openings here and also like on the front, and just like distribute fresh air. So I think that will be good. And yeah, I also added like a cover here for the terminals with labels. You can't really see the plus minus here, but with labels, and it's just like friction fit, so you can just push it in and out. Actually remove it for now. So yeah, I think it's like really good improvement over what we had before. Yeah, also had a couple of iterations with design for the covers. So here we had like the bridging in the back, but this didn't quite work out. So I ended up with this design here, focus, which is also quite cool. And that's the same you see here on the power supply. So it's kind of like consistent, which I like. Cool, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I did between streams, which was quite a bit. Usually I'm not very busy between the streams. I did a 3D printing lab. But yeah, so plan for today. I want to finish the 24 volt wiring first, so we have to supply the 2 wards. Then we have to add 24 volts and the ground to the Wago block. Then we have to complete this little board here with the 2 buck converters. So we need to do some wiring here. I want to have JST plugs on the front. Nice wiring. Yeah, I'm I'm very proud actually. Still plenty wires to be added, so let's see if it stays that nice. But yeah, so I would say let's just start out. Oh, what I also did, I fixed the mainboard DIN rail mounts, so they're not sliding around anymore, so they're now properly in place. And then you already see what my idea is with the 24 volt wiring. Let's just like seamlessly transition there. But my idea is to just have it tucked into the V slot here on the side, and then just runs along the V slot and goes in the opening here. And then basically we are already directed power supply below. So I would just do that now, I guess, for the first board. I have like a little bit of wire, which is like from the Ender power supply. Let's just reuse that and not waste it. And I guess we can just run that through, cut off the end at the bottom, and then, yeah, crimp the spade connector here. So I basically would wire the 2 main boards directly to the power supply. I mean, we have 3 positive terminals here and 3 negative terminals. So I would just wire those 2, and then one of the terminals would go to the Wago blocks, which you don't see at the moment, which are here. And then from there we can also distribute all the power we need. So let's just start. Enough talking. Oop. That starts well. Let's see. Let's maybe quickly remove that from here. Yeah, I just kept them in as dummy. So I remember that I later have to add the wires there and consider that with the space. Okay. Let's just kind of like run that behind here. Just not sure if we keep the heat shrink there. I mean, it's kind of neat to keep the cables together, but it's also like in the rail, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see if it's annoying us. So we have to push that over here again. Oop. I kind of want to have this as much to the side as possible. Yeah, it's annoying us. Okay, let's cut this heat shrink here. Because this is exactly where the cable needs to bend, and now it doesn't bend. Let's just snap that. Okay, let's try again. Yeah. That's kind of like what I had in mind. So you don't even see that there's a cable anymore. Nice and tidy. Cool. And then we're already at our destination down here. So I guess we can just use the outermost for this one. Let's just do it something like this. And then for the ground, it needs to be a tad longer because we need to go over here. Maybe let me quickly remove this one. Okay, I need a different bit for that. Okay, let's just quickly remove that. Yes, and now we can just put this here. Perfect. Let me just quickly get it out again so we have a little bit more wire to work with. Just okay. It's like one of the things like I would never have thought that the wiring takes so much time. I mean, like, we struggle a lot with the tool wiring, but even with that, like, it's one of the things I really underestimated. Not sure if the red one fits. Yeah. Yeah, that is like the most cable you get in there, but it fits. Okay, that's one. Let's do the ground wire. Okay. And now we have to just through here again. Back here. Negative one goes on the first terminal. Positive lead goes on the first terminal. And I think this is a very nice cable run. Like, it looks basically as before, which I count as a success. Cool, let's do the same with this board. So I just undo that quickly. I would do the exact same thing. So we just run it through the V slot and then through here. We just need a little bit more cable. My goal for today is keeping my work area a little bit more clean than usual. I don't think this will work, but let's just keep that as an aspirational goal. Actually, let's already crimp the ferro connector on one end. One ground wire here. And here's oh, I forgot to mention, I also printed those V-slot cable clips. They actually work really nice. Like, I have them here for the AC wiring, and like they're clipping in really nicely. Like, this is a really great design. So I have them here, and then also here, you can't really see it, but like the AC wiring is completely like tucked in, which is really nice. Okay, we have let's see, where do we have? I think we use the blue ones. Oh, let's use a bit more. No, that's not perfect. Have this one a tad longer. Might be a bit too long, but you can always cut it shorter. Yeah, a bit too long now. No, it's poking out the front. Okay. Then let's put it in. So the positive lead is the inner one. And negative lead is the outer one. Okay, let's put the board somewhat where we want it. Wait. So we run this here. And then it will kind of like, I mean, it will be lower, but then we'll go down here. We're just roughly cutting the length. We'll most likely cut off like another centimeter, but just so we have a rough idea. And now the fun is, I mean, we should have done that like before doing all the other wires. Now you kind of have to like through here. I really like those tweezers, by the way. Like they're a little bit like longer and thicker. They're really amazing. I'm actually not sure if we need anything to hold it like in the V slots, like just like kind of wants to be there. This does not want to go through there. One might think the hole is big enough. Yeah, a little bit too long, but kind of expected it. It's good. It's kind of like pushing that into the V slot. And basically the V slot profile just holds the cables in. It's perfect. It's really perfect. Okay, maybe. So let's see. So I thought about, I guess that's what I'm saying. If I just put like one of those clips on top. Doesn't quite clip with the cables inside. Oh, it's a bad one. Let's see. Let's try quickly a different one. I just want to have something to like. Yeah, I just want to say it. Let's just. Oh, shouldn't have said that. Just want to have something to kind of like keep the cables in here. Technically, we can also like have them outside the V slot and you just use the cable clips to route them, but I prefer to have them inside the V slot. All right. Yeah, let's see it quickly. Yeah, now it's in. Now it's in. Okay. Then let's just check here the length. So length is quite okay. So for the red one, we just shorten it a tiny bit. Say something like this. And the black one needs to go a little bit farther. So let's say like this. Ah, no, I don't want to pull them out again. I'll just quickly do it here on this side. Okay, and we use, I'm not sure if we can use the red or the, no, so here's the thing, the wires for this board, the ones we reuse, these are 16 gauge wires, these are 14, and this was, we set the absolute maximum. So we have to use the blue ones. Okay, this one. Okay. This goes here. And this goes here. I have to open that. And I'm still not quite happy with those cables here. So if I would kind of manage to like keep them in here, I would be very happy. I don't think that will happen on their terms. I mean, we can always try. Right, to just do it like this. But then it's like with a couple more. But it doesn't fit below the board here. So that's not. Let's just keep it for like now. For now like this, and I'll figure out a solution to like push them in. Let's not waste too much time on it. Okay. So then we have 2 left to go. We have 1 cable here we can reuse, and this will basically just go up here, around here, and then let's just do it like that one, like this. Shall we crimp a ferrule connector on those? I'm never sure with the Wagos. I don't think it matters really. Let's just put it in there. So. I cut it almost too short. Yeah, okay, well, you can also just put it in a one that's closer. Just need to be a bit careful with those things because they're breaking quite easy. That's not typical me. I want the cable in a certain way, and I cut it ever so slightly too short to do that. There we go. Perfect. Not perfect. Okay, then it needs to be like this. Okay, then it's like this. Too bad. I had my chance. And then this one. Let's do it like this. So this is the cable that goes to the tool head to supply 24 volts. And it's one of those slippery ones that you can't really push. Okay, so these are our two 24 volts, and now we will have another run from here down to the buck converter. But let's first do the ground connection here. So that's the last spade connector. Get it routed in a nicer way. Route it the same way. Let me just cut this a little bit long. Now what we can do here, we can maybe just like intertwine those a little bit so we stay together. I'm close to redoing the red one. I think my problem is I don't consider how low the Wago terminals are. So cool. Perfect. So that means the 24 volt wiring from the power supply is complete. We can put on our little cover. It's a shame that they're not all red. And I'm thinking, do we need to run any more cables through here? And I think for now the answer is no. The only cables that are left are for the 5 volt, which is like all in this area here. And we still need to run the motor cables, but they will come out here, go directly here, and go directly there. And here somewhere and go there. So yeah, let's just close it up, I guess. Oh. And it's all done. I should have, like, those should have been tad longer. But it's not a very long cable, so I might also just redo the run. It's not a lot of waste. Cool. 3 positive, 3 negative, ground, neutral, and line. So that all looks good. Now we can put the spade connectors to the side, and I also don't think we will need the 14 gauge wire anymore. So put that to the side. And we don't need the crimp tool anymore for spade, nor for ferrule. We don't have any more ferrule connectors. Collect all the trash. Trash pile. Cool. Then I would say let's put this buck converter board together, and then we also need to wire that to the Wago terminals on top. So we will have cable run, basically we will use the clips to run the cable here alongside the power supply. And then here we will have 3 JST connectors. So that's our little board. But I actually just discovered before the stream we can save a little bit of work by reusing the buck converters I had in the previous setup. Because here we already have appropriate wires kind of soldered to it. So we can save a bit of work there. We're just reusing what we have, which is always nice. That means we only need to solder the JC connectors, I guess. Stay here, we need you. Okay, remove those. So what's the idea here? So basically we'll have 2 buck converters on each side. And they will have 24-volt wiring going to a JST connector in the center. Both of them going to the same. So this is basically our source. And then basically we will have the wires go under the board to the front. And then each will have a connector here left and right. So that's kind of my plan. Not sure if we've reused these breadboard wires though. Let's see about that. But here we already have one leg of the nicer wires, so we can just use it. I'm not quite sure why I bridged the out ground to the in ground here. I mean, technically it doesn't really matter. But I would just remove this cable and then solder like one ground here. So let's just do the following. Let's just take, so basically like there's one JC housing and it kind of goes in the middle here. Oh, I want to do this as a 3-pin one to prevent mix-ups of the connectors. And we also have a little bit more space when soldering because we have to solder like 2 wires to each input. So basically I'll just most likely snip the middle one and then we have ground on one side and 24 volt on the other side. It doesn't really matter which side, just the plug needs to match. Then we'll have the buck converter here. And then basically like the 2 wires go to the 2 terminals. Will be like a little bit fiddly to solder. And I'm not a fan of soldering, so I will enjoy. It will be, as always, a struggle between having my desire to having as little cable as possible and not having not enough cable and as little cable as possible. But I guess if we let's just decide on this side that it's red on. So we'll just do it like this. So the red one is now shorter because we kind of like go to the center. And the other side then we need to match accordingly. All right, turn on the soldering iron. Need to change that to solder temperature as well. As always, I have a very short cable. Cool. Then I would just say let's pretend the wires quickly. If I can reach it in. And then just solder to the plug. But let's also actually do what I said, and let's just remove that middle pin. Actually pulled it. Pulled it out. Now it's just like a little bit harder for me to bridge the pins, but I'll just, I will most likely still manage. So another one. The interesting part will be like the second one. And I'm expert in melting JST connectors. So that's one side. So far, so easy. So now we kind of have to do the reverse here. So let's just assume it's something like this. Okay. Now the fun. Let's do the positive lead first. Just trying to kind of like fixate everything a bit. So now the fun will basically be soldering both together with like without losing contact and without melting the JST connector. Yep. That's a success. Perfect. Okay, that was easier than expected. Let's see if we can replicate that. So, kind of need to hold the cables in a way that if we dab solder on it, okay, that was easier than expected. Oh, sorry, you all already zoomed in. Like, it looks okay. Quite a strong connection. Whew. Okay, let's quickly test fit that on the board. Ooh. This way. So the cables are a bit long. But to be honest, I wouldn't want to have them a lot shorter for the soldering. It's okay, it's kind of like self-contained mess. Could have been a tad shorter, but it's okay. Okay, then let's solder the other side quickly, like the cables there. Like this one is fine, but we need to do the other ones. And then basically we need to solder the 2-pin terminals that go left and right. And then the board is complete. Now we can just use plugs to connect to that. So we have to do some crimping, which is our most favorite. Yeah, let's actually use let's do this side first. Maybe we should have done the wires on the back first, that we don't have like this entire like mess. Let's see. So let's just remove this cable here, but I'll just snip it off in the front. And then we can unsolder it in the back. And then we can just solder the black one here. Let's pretend it a tiny bit. Oh. That's not a good connection. Quickly. Pretend this properly. And then let's quickly get up. No old solder. Okay, there we go. Now it's better. So that's one. So here's the thing, what I do usually in my builds is I use yellow for 5 volts. It's not standard, but then for me it's easier to not mess up 24 and 12 volts lines. So yellow is 5 volt for me. And I'm quite consistent with that. Let's replace those jumper breadboard cables and not. And let's also remove the solder here. Oh. Okay. Now the pads are free again. They're actually holes, which is nice. We do have this black wire, which I think is enough. But I don't think... Oh yeah, I have some yellow wire to recycle as well. Okay. Okay, that's that. Then let's figure out how long those cables need to be. So if we put this here, we kind of like just put them under the board. So I'm just cutting the yellow one to length. And then the black one can follow. Let's just copy that on the other side. That's something. Let's just cut them all to the same length. Cool. Then now again, like the polarity for the plug so far doesn't matter. We just need to be consistent with it. So let's just strip those wires. Let's do one side first, and then see how that goes. So let's just do the 5-volt on the side facing me. Ground goes to the back. Okay, so let's see how it goes. So you can kind of like twist it a bit. That looks good. I would say let's just do this one down. So we have that locked in place, and then we can add a dab of super glue to the connector in front to keep that where it's supposed to be. And screw hole, oh, doesn't align 100%. And quickly get the proper screwdriver, and it's like a bit easier to push in the direction we need to push. Cool. That's that. And then again, 5 volt on the side facing me. Oh, we first have to tin the wires. First. Okay. Same thing. Let's give that a twist. And put that to the front. And then should be able now here the screw holds perfectly lined, so maybe it's just the other board just being like off a little bit. Okay, that's our little converter board. See if we can. Tuck that all under there a bit more. Cool. Nice and tidy. So I'll just use a dab of super glue on the side of the connector, just to like secure the connector to the board. That's all it needs. And now we can put it here. And we can make some cables. Let's quickly set this already back to heated insert temperature, because we will need it for this next time. Cool. That was quick. I like that. Okay, so we need to make 3 cables. So we need to have one cable 24 volt with a 3-pin JST. That basically goes to the center pin to provide power. And then we need one from here to the Raspberry. But I'm not quite sure. I kind of want to have like somewhere, I need to quickly check. I have like a big 24 pin header. Basically that I have one plug for all the GPIO of the Raspberry. But I'm also not sure how much GPIO we will have actually. I don't think we will have any for now. So I think it's fine if we just, maybe we can reuse those breadboard wires Now let's make it proper, at least like a proper DuPont pin there. Do I have? Let's see. I do have some headers here, so let's make a small one. But yeah, let's just start with the 24-volt one. I think I have some wire we can reuse. Oh, what a shame. This one has already JST, but the wrong one. No, let's just quickly plug this. It's wrong, but let's just plug it in here to anchor it. So this kind of needs to run up here. And then I would basically just loop it in here. So let's just say we need something like this cable. Something like this cable. And let's just crimp like the correct connector on there. But we can actually reuse this connector for the other two. So let's quickly if it wants to come out, we can reuse it. If not, then here we go. Success. Okay, and we can reuse this one, and there's the second one we can reuse. I'm all trying to recycle those things. Technically, it's just like not really something that's like valuable or something. But still, you know. Okay, this one I'll do later. Okay. Then we need crimping pliers and JST crimping pins. You see, that's the cable we want to use. Yeah. But at least we're kind of like slowly nearing the end with like crimping and soldering and all the fun things. I mean, it's like the third stream we're now doing crimps and stuff. Oh, that was not smart. I'm kind of done with that stuff, to be honest. I did not expect the electronics to be such a hassle. I actually still didn't take the time to like double check all the wiring. It's still on my to-do list. It's a bit too long. So I wouldn't turn it on yet. Like usually I'm less afraid of like powering on printers. But because I did so much of the cabling myself, I kind of want to have like a second check, especially on the tool head wiring. Because as much as I like smoke, figuring out what's wrong after the fact will be quite a hassle. So now let's check. So the housing, the positive lead is on the bottom. And, okay. And we can already plug that in. And let's use some of our cable clips. To route this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I really do like the loop. Let's just maybe like, try to push this under the big cable. Just do like this. And this looks like 11 millimeters. This looks like 11 millimeters. Oh no, did I do it again? That's 1. And that's 2. And with that, now I regret not having enough cable to like clip it down here as well. Yeah, not gonna do it again. Okay. No, this is, yeah, it would have been nice to like route it around there and clip it here and then go up. But yeah, doesn't matter. Now it's like a little bit random here, but whatever. Cool. Then 2 more connectors want to be crimped. Let's do first the one that goes up. That actually only needs 1. Do I have... No, I don't have any cable that long for yellow. The radius needs to go from here. Oh. Oh, it's tangled. Oh, how did that happen? I always wanted to make like a proper nice 3D printed like roller thingy, but never got around doing so. But maybe this is now the motivation I need. I'm ignoring the white one. Okay. So we kind of need to go from somewhere here. Let's actually just go the other way around this time. So let's just start here. And then we go in, we go here down, and then let's just do this. Lost that mess again. Okay, yeah, perfectly. Let's quickly crimp the connector on there. We don't need to run the ground wire there because really just the 5 volts we need. Oh, that did not work. Try again. Okay, let's quickly see. Can I convince that to come out here? No. Okay. This is as much time as I want to spend on it. Seems to be in the bottom one. Okay. Does this want to come out again? Yes, it does. Let's just add the yellow wire to this bundle here and plug it in. Cool, now we technically have 5 volt. Let's actually add a cable tie here. And one more clip, just because we have so many. Maybe not. Maybe not here. Okay, cool. Then one more cable left. And then I think all the electronics cabling is complete. Yeah, let's quickly do... I put them out. Okay. Let's quickly do USB cables actually. So you have to push them through, and then this one will be a bit awkward here. That's okay. I might buy like a right angle cable here. And this. Goes here. Okay, and these are our 2 USB cables. Like, I'm a bit concerned about this one because it's kind of like pushing on the connector a bit. Let's maybe move the raspberry ever so slightly up. Okay, maybe like this. Cool. These are the USB cables. Yeah, again, like this one I'm less concerned, but this one is a bit stupid. Like I would like to have like a 90 degree for this one. Maybe even just a 90-degree adapter would be sufficient. I'll need to see. I will browse AliExpress and see what I can find. Okay, then last one is the very short cable from here to here. Let me quickly check my magic box, what type of connectors I have here. Give me like a minute and I'll be back with a nice connector. 1 second. So, I have this actually. Which I think we can use. That's actually like pinout board for the Raspberry Pi 400, I think it's called, like the keyboard thingy. But we have a very good clearance here. So I think we can just use this. Like this. See, does it clear? Yeah, it just clears. Like 1 finger left, 1 fingertip. Benefit is like, we have the labeling. If I want to swap out the Raspberry, I don't have to fiddle off all the GPIO connectors. I can just like remove it as a block. So I think this is much better. But I put it on the wrong way. It needs to go out like this. Yeah. And then let's use like a 3-pin DuPont. That we can use for the 5-volt. 5-volt ground. So we just have like 1 DuPont going 3 of them. And then the middle one is just empty. Like we don't need extra 5-volt, right? We have lots of 5-volts in the system now from the Wago terminal. So we can just have 1 connector here. And then it's like kind of like proper. I'm kind of done with having like breadboard cables like flying all over the place. So that means we need relatively short leg cable. That's a bit too short. How about we just let's do the black cable first. Let's crimp the JST. I thought I was done with crimping. Okay, then the JST has ground on top. Okay, let's just kind of like preliminarily put it here. So how would we want to run the cables? I guess the easiest is really just like to have direct connection, right? Kind of like flying then mid-air, which I don't like, but hey. That's life, I guess. So let's just do something like this. And we need the DuPont connector on the other side. But before we do that, let's You have a huh. What a shame. It's a. But then let me. Oh, that's a shame. Let me see if I can. I mean, I can get them out of here. I just remove that. Let's just use those, then we don't have to crimp the DuPont. Then we have to crimp not a JC now, but that is acceptable. So, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Like the orientation of the DuPont doesn't really matter. So let's just snap that in. The other one doesn't want to stay in place. Like it's in. Let's see. No, it's in. Okay. Then basically this just plugs in like this. And it's like also like a better connection. Plus it's to the outside, so there's no pull in this direction. Oh, there's no pull in this direction. So I'm more confident because it's pulling like this, so that it shouldn't come loose. Okay, then let's just shorten them both to the same length. Okay, and then we are 2 JC connectors away from victory. At least I'm quite confident now with the JC connectors. Like in the beginning it was a bit of a struggle, but now it's quite easy to crimp those. So hey, at least there's something. Whew, okay. Then this goes like, let's just also twist them together. We should have done it with the other ones as well. Then this goes like this, and then this goes here, and this goes here. Show that they're in. Like this silicone wire is a little bit hard to do the twisting thingy. So let's push that on. Okay, and then this simply goes over here. And that's it. This is it. So now this gets power from the center pin, which goes to the Wago terminal. So this gets power from the Wago terminal. The Wago terminal is like wired to this two plugs here from the power supply. So this is 24 volt constant. But actually, like, let's unplug this, because we first need to verify that this one actually has 5 volts set. I don't want to roast my Raspberry. Yeah, this would have been an alternative. So it's just like a normal 24 pin, and we can like solder the different wires directly here. So if you want to get rid of this, like, we can solder those directly there. Cool. Sweet. So I think that's the wiring. Now I'm thinking, technically we can turn it on. Technically we can turn it on. It's a bit risky. Again, like, I didn't check like any of those wirings again. I don't want to do that on stream, the checking part, because I want to ensure that I'm like fully focused on those wires. Oh, we didn't do the motor wires yet, so let's do that. Let's do that. How about we plug them in on the bottom, and then we flip the printer over for the first time in a long time, and plug them in on top. So, these are the wires from the Ender. Exactly, these are the wires from the Ender. Let's actually remove those labels, because the labels are wrong. That's not... Oh, sorry. Cables from the Ender. Let me remove those yellow labels, because they are incorrect. We don't want incorrect labels. And then we also have one motor more, of course, than the original Ender, because we have 2 extruders. And for that, I actually found a cable I had lying around. Remove them, and then I'm fully focused on talking again. Okay, so I found this cable. Oh, exactly, which we need to add another plug. Yay, some more JC. I painted the black with some marker, and we will use this, I think, for the Y-axis motor. So basically we have 2 extruders. So this one I will just use for Y. So this kind of goes somewhere. Oh, yeah, it goes through there. Then we have 2 shorter ones, which will be used for A and B. So they actually will go through here and I think through there somewhere. There. And we kind of need to pass them through here somewhere. But then basically the A and B drives, I will just put one to each board, so we kind of have them on the cables on one side and we don't have to cross them over. They're also super long, so I mean, technically this one could reach, maybe, let's see, we figured it out. But then the star of the show are the 2 long ones, and on the Ender, these, like, they're the exact same length, which is amazing. On the Ender, one of them went to the extruder and one went to the X motor. And we will use them for extruders, because the extruders will be like quite far away from the mainboards, right? They will be on the side. So these will be perfect for that. At the moment they're like together, so we kind of have to separate them. But yeah, these we need later. Let's do, I guess let's crimp that connector first. I just put away the JST pins. It's a shame. Okay. But let's actually like plug it in and see how long the cable needs to be, because now we have the unique opportunity to decide how long this cable will be. Let's just, you know, there's a hole here somewhere. All right, let's check from the top. Hey, haven't seen this side again for a long time. So let's just plug this in. You can have to like navigate this through here. Yeah, exactly. And like you only see the black part of the cable. Well, it's very short. Okay, and then it kind of comes out pretty much exactly where we need it to come out. Extruder. So let's just follow that a little bit. So we use, oh, sorry. We use this plug here. So with a bit of slack, outside like this. Okay, we need to flip it over again. Not gonna get this unplugged like this. Okay. Whew. The printer's getting heavy. And I think while we look at this, and I have a marker here, let's just make the rest black as well. Okay, let's give this like 30 seconds to dry. In the meantime, I mean, the orientation of the cables, I have no clue. I guess it's something we need to figure out and most likely switch at some point the cables. I would just like do them now kind of like in the order they are, but then it could be like completely backward. But there's the startup guide from Voron, right? That we can use to determine like if Y moves in the wrong direction, what we did wrong. So we will need to make use of that. Okay, and try to keep the cables kind of together. Okay, let's see. I hope they crimp. Those cables crimp well. Oh! Well... Now we have to shorten it a bit. Not sure if you saw it, but like I smashed the cable with the crimping tool. Just when I said crimping got easier. Let's try again. Let's put on. Oh, where did it fall? Okay. Let's try again. Okay, one success. I kind of lost one pin somewhere, but doesn't matter. We have plenty. Second success. 2 more to go. And last one. So let's hope this is the last JST crimp we have to do. I said it before, but maybe this time it's actually true. Okay, so I guess it's a 50-50 chance. So I'll just put them in the order, in the direction I crimped them. Double check they're all in. Very short cable. Knowing me, it's too short. But then we kind of screwed up. So this goes in here. And this goes down there. Well, it's not too short, which is great, I think. And we can always just put it in here. That's actually a very good length. Perfect. Oh, you don't even see it. Here it is. It's like just enough. That's the first motor. Then let's do the second one and the third one. So these are the A-B motors. Again, like we have one cable that's a tad longer. And I wonder, I mean, technically, this one would reach either here or there. But the shorter one definitely doesn't reach over here. So I would just say, let's actually do what I said, like we use the longer cable here and go back there, and the shorter cable and just basically keep them on each side. The only problem I just now discovered is that this doesn't really fit there. So we need to see how to fiddle those cables through there. Oh. Let me quickly make some space. I guess we quickly have to loosen the screw here. And then we can like slide the cable in. I should, yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. So that's the side that needs to go through. So it's just kind of like poke it through here. And this goes here. And then we can like put it back. Cool. While I'm looking at this, let's also like remove that stupid Creality sticker. Oh, that's easy. There's another one back here. Okay. Let's quickly do the cable on the other side, and then we can route them under deck. We have to do the exact same thing here. This one's just a bit more tricky because there's the power supply. So you should definitely route those cables earlier in the build. Okay, I have it through. And it wasn't here. Okay. Then we can flip it over again, after putting the screw back, of course. Very essential screw. One plug's here. What do we know? Oh, now we have the long one and the short one on the wrong side. This is too short. And this is way too long. Okay, well, nice try. Let's do it again. I'm an expert in doing things twice. Quickly pull this one out here too. Okay, then this one goes down here. And this one is the tricky one, which kind of needs to go. This way. Okay. One. Two. Okay. Whew. There we go. Ah, much better. Only problem is, I didn't consider that we have to push through those cables here on the side. Yeah, it's perfect length now for both. Like this one, that long, but so the problem is now we have to kind of maneuver them through here. So I guess the easiest is to just loosen those, but I don't want to fully loosen them because like catching all the nuts in the V-slots was quite painful, but it's already enough. Okay. Let's tighten it again. Okay. And on the other side we do the same. Oh no. Okay, well. Let's just directly plug it in. And now you can see why I didn't want to do this. This is quite annoying. Okay, one. Come on. Nope. So. Actually remove the screw and just focus on one for now. And I kind of do see the nut through here. So if the top one catches, yes. Cool. Success. Not entire operation, but even worse. The screw fell into the power supply. Luckily in the corner where there's no components, so I feel kind of okay with fishing it out with the tweezer. As always, don't do this at home, please. Power supplies are dangerous. Don't do what I do. Okay, let's put protection here. So in case the screw falls again, it falls somewhere else. Okay, we are still good. Yes. Whew. Okay, yeah. Again, do this before mounting the power supply. Like, just install that first thing if you want to do that. I'm such an idiot. I didn't put it through. Yeah, but I feel like on this side we actually have to fully remove that to pull the cable through here. And I'm not sure if this is a great idea actually. Because we have the AC wiring here. Like I kind of want to keep this stuff a bit separate. No, it shouldn't be, like, technically shouldn't be an issue, but let's not do that here. Let's okay, let's do the one more thing. Hey there, Das Logos 3D printing, sorry. You have a very difficult name. Let's do it one more time. And let's separate it. And then let's actually just put the cable through here. That's a bit nicer. Then this cable channel here is only for the AC wiring. Okay, let's do this one more time. We did it a couple of times before. We can do it again. Let's put our protection here. Okay, this is aligned. Yes. Yeah, success. Okay, let's close that and not do that again. Okay, this goes up here. Let's just switch it in here. And let's forget about this. I guess we can just plug this in Y. I mean, it doesn't really matter. And let's just kind of like smoosh the cable somewhere here on the side where we can't see it. That's one. And then let's just plug this one. It doesn't really matter. It's just see how we can route the cable kind of nicely. And I would say let's use our trusty cable clips here. Again, like everything is black as always. I'm really sorry. kind of the perfect length actually. Let's actually plug this one over to Y. And this one to X, and we have one X, one Y. But then here the cable length looks nicer. So let me just illuminate the blackness for you. So just added those cable clips here. And now the cable just runs through here. Oh yeah, actually this fan also wants to be done, but I'm not quite sure yet where to put this. So this will be like for another time. Just stash that somewhere. So basically this is now the Z, the Y motor. This is the A or B, so one of the two. Runs through here and then goes through here to the motor. And then we have the B motor in this case. It's kind of like runs through here, goes in this like little corner here, and then to the front. So these are our three motors that are responsible for the motion of the printer. And I think the cabling overall, like, could be worse. Like, I'm not happy with this one here, like kind of randomly dangling. Maybe I redo that at some point, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, like it. And yeah, I'll add, like, if somebody wants to build this, I'll upload the files for the cable channel and for the power supply cover in the next days. Just need to clean up a bit. But now I see it, everything works as it's intended to, so I can upload them. I know somebody asked like last week or the week before for the cable channel covers, and I'm really sorry, but hey, the ones I had back then did not really work, so. Yeah, I kind of want to turn it on. Not gonna lie. But I think it's better if I take like an hour to just double check the wiring here, and also like the AC wiring, just like double check everything. Because I never did so much wiring on a printer myself. Cool, but then I think we are kind of like done with this part for now. I'm actually curious to see I'm not sure, like I kind of want to put on the panel for a second just to see that everything kind of aligns. I'm just not sure where the rubber feet ended up in my super messy box here. There's another one. Did I lose a rubber foot? Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I do miss a screw. Yeah. There it is. Ha. Just for the record, this is such a mess. And I have like 2 of those boxes. Turn it on then? No. Let's, my plan is to do the extruders now first. And then really like tomorrow in like an hour of peace, I'll just recheck all the wiring, because like, I'm not sure if you followed the last stream, but I found multiple issues with the wiring I did before, and I'm pretty sure that there are more. Because like all the wires are kind of like done like from scratch, including the toolhead board. And there was some like confusing documentation on the toolhead board side, so I just really want to double check everything is in place. So let's see, but it seems to kind of like work out. Everything fits under the cover. That's good. And basically, not sure if I'm gonna do that on stream. Would be kind of fun to do on stream, I guess. So I kind of like marked it here with a black dot. That's the center of the fan. So basically I'll use one of those like big drill thingy to like drill a hole here. And I think I'll just print like a little like skirt to like kind of like hide the edges of the cutting, just in black. And then basically like now the fan directly docks against that thing. Maybe I actually use a little bit of like foam tape, just like to like dampen, like to prevent vibrations here. But it basically fan like directly sucks in fresh air here and like pushes it up. So this is like kind of like not intended, it's kind of like how it happened now, but this worked out really well. And it's actually like a standard 80 millimeter fan, so way better cooling than the original one and way quieter. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that I accidentally ordered transparent. That was not my intention originally. But then basically like here we can add LED strips. That's why I have this like little indentations here on the sides. It's like for an LED strip to go through. And then like more here. And the LED strips I will just glue to the bottom panel. And then basically we can connect them. Let's see, like the NeoPixel pin on this side is used for the tool head. So maybe we just use the second board NeoPixel pin for the body LEDs. Technically, you can also use the raspberry to drive them, I think. So plenty of options. Cool, but this looks like quite clean and nice. I like that. Then I guess it is getting heavy. Gone are the days of the light aluminium frame. Yeah, it's quite heavier than the Ender. Cool. Yeah, but that's kind of like how it looks at the moment. We haven't looked at this side for quite some time. So I have to like do the belt tension and everything, and I noticed that it's not super straight anymore. Like here you can push up a bit, but it might just be the belt tension. And yeah, I didn't plug in the plugs yet, so I'll use those to like double check the wiring then, basically. Cool. Then I would say like let's just park that to the side for now. And check out the M4 extruder, because we have 2 to build of that. Put this to the side. Oh god. Absolute mess. Okay. So, yeah. So these are the parts for the M4 extruder. We will build 2. So we will have dual extrusion. And the parts are mirrored. So basically like some are the same, like the wheel are the same, obviously. But many parts are exactly mirrored. So we need to kind of pay attention to that. Yeah, I never put one of those together. We also have 2 motors. And I desperately hope that the shaft is long enough on those. And we have some more parts. Exactly, we have 1. Two hardware kits. And I think this is all we need. So let's quickly check out the manual for that. And I'll quickly Take a sip of water. Okay. Let's go to the browser. Let's recycle some random tab. So we need the M4 extruder. Manual. Here we go. So I just assume we have all the parts we need. If not, we'll find out during the build. Yeah, let's start. I'm wondering whether we should build both in parallel or whether we should do them one by one. Let me also quickly show you the manual here on the side. Yeah, let's just do them parallel. Let's create like a neat pile. On both sides. So we do have the pulleys. I actually also have black pulleys. Maybe I don't have black pulleys. Maybe we use them all. Okay, so basically now remove the flange. So I guess I'll just remove the flange. Success. Okay. And then that kind of goes in here. Okay. I'll just give you like a little bit closer view. Parts. So, and then we use M3x8 button head. Must be those. That will be a lot of screwing. It's interesting, like they just grab into the how's it called? Pulley. My English. Actually, I have this laying back here since forever. Let me be lazy. That makes my life easier. Okay. Okay, this is one side. Let's copy that. Let's just put it off. Just make sure we don't lose any of that stuff. Move a bit more to the front because I'm kind of like working more in this area here. Don't have to pay attention so much that everything is in frame. The last one. That's definitely a time saver. Okay, success. 2 wheels. Then, what's next? Drive shaft. I do have a drive shaft, but mine looks a bit different. Well, it should be fine. So we need the drive gear. Which I have 2 of. I wonder whether they're the same or whether they're different. Let's quickly check the parts list. Oh, they're not mentioned in the parts list. Interesting. I assume they are the same. Like I'm talking about this part here. Because I have one like loose and then like one wrapped 1,000 times in something. No, they're not the same. They're not the same, but you also can't confuse them. Like you see, one has this black thing inside and one not. But the drive shaft only fits. Oh. Okay. The bearings were inside. So they are the same. But the bearings we need later. Okay, cool. Then this is clear. So let's see. So basically my drive shaft is completely flat on one side, where the one in the manual basically has like indentations at certain spots, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. I should use a bit of thread locker here. 4mm printed spacer. Do I have a 4mm printed spacer? I think I have one. I don't think I have two. This is 4mm printed spacer, but I do not see it twice. I was actually wondering what this part is. So the answer, whether we built them both in parallel, is no. And this also doesn't quite fit on the shaft. Huh, okay, well. I see a problem. I do have two though. One just fell out. Let's do the following. This doesn't fit. Oh, this one fits, okay. So this one is ever so slightly tighter. That's odd. Let me quickly grab a file and just like file the inside of that a bit. 1 second. Okay, just a round key file. Let's just treat it a bit. Odd that one fits and the other one doesn't. Quite a bit actually. Ah, here we go. Okay, cool. So we have the gear, then we have a spacer, and then we have a bearing. With the heated insert inside. So this kind of like goes like this, but I'm not quite sure about the position. But what we can do already, where is my Loctite? Let's add a little tiny bit of Loctite to the grub screw. And then later when we position it, we already have the Loctite on there. Dab of Loctite in there. Let's make an absolute mess. Here we go. Okay. Let's quickly do the second one. Oh, there's another heated insert inside. Okay. Put this on top and let's get our gear. Okay, absolutely sure about the vertical position on that, but we'll find out in a second. Okay. Those two parts are assembled. Then Okay, this one is easy. We do the idler assembly. We most likely will want to have a little bit of lubrication, exactly. So that's those two parts, and they are mirrored. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. And we have some Mobilux grease. So let's just push it out. I'm just giving up on the hope of not having grease on my fingers right away. That's 1. And 2. Let's see if I need to wash my hands. Yeah, should be fine. Okay, let's just gently push it in. Okay. What's next? Heated inserts. Heated inserts. I quickly set my soldering iron, for some reason it's back to 400. Okay, so it's basically these two parts. And that. Okay, so these are our parts, and we have a bunch of heated inserts flying around. So that should be easy and quick. Let's start with those. Okay, almost tough. They are not quite flush. No, okay. Then, judging from the amount of heated inserts I have laying around here, these are already the only ones. These are all heated inserts that came in the hardware kits. I mean, we have more in case we need, but I assume that's all the heated inserts we need. I was a bit too close to the print bed. I was printing it. Not a very nice part. Doesn't look very nice. I mean, it won't be visible later, but like you see the ripple here. It's just like not. Yeah, both of them. Weird. All of them. Not sure why I didn't see that before. Oh, it's okay. Okay, then assembly. So we take the body part and we put the other thing on top. Oh wait, we skipped over the bearing. There's also supposed to be a bearing in here. In the other way. Okay, fits. Okay, then this kind of goes like that. And trying to figure out which side goes where. Oh yeah, I had it wrong. That's how it's like. It's a bit difficult because I have both. I have like the mirrored parts. Cool. So that's how they go together. So we want to align, of course, that. Okay. The drive shaft goes in there as well. Let's make sure this is loose. Did I glue that down with Loctite? Because the grub screw is loose. Yes, I did. No, it's moving. Well, okay. Wait, what direction were we supposed? Oh no, it's like this. Okay, so bearing goes like this and then in, and then we put the entire stack on top. Oh wait, Did my camera just die? Oh, that's a first. Battery exhausted. Give me a second to check that. Okay, some idiot didn't plug in the camera, so it was running on battery the entire time. That kind of sucks. So basically, if I now use it right away, it will say battery exhausted, although it's not connected to power. So we need to wait like a couple of minutes. I kind of want to finish that though, so. Ugh. That sucks. I know it's kind of like a clear mistake on my side. But while we wait, we can figure out what I did wrong. Yeah, exactly. I have the bearing in the opposite direction. Mine is facing the opposite direction. So if I put it on in the right direction, suddenly everything fits together, almost. Okay, so now it looks like the manual. Oh shit. I would be like at first if I have like one stream without any technical glitches. Especially if they're like preventable like this. Yeah, let's give it like another like 1.5 minutes or so. And then we can give it a try to see if it works or not. In the meantime, I'll quickly try to tighten the grub screw. Let's try. Seems to work. Let me turn off the screen to save energy. Cool. Let's see. So yeah, my problem was I had the bearing the wrong way, so it didn't fit. But now, like it's wiggling up and down. But if you pull on this side, which I think is the way you should do it, this is now all aligned. Like you can kind of see like there's like the filament path here, and that's like perfectly aligned now. Hi Tony, sorry for making you wait for my camera. I unplugged the charging cable on the charger side like a couple of days ago, and I forgot to plug it back in. So too bad. Okay, let's do this one more time. So again, like I had it this way, and it's supposed to be that way. And this kind of goes in here, and this all goes on top. And then it's pretty much perfectly aligned. I'll just quickly tighten the grab screw here. And you can push it up. That's like poking out, but I think like that will be fixed in one of the next steps. Cool. 2 times assembled so far. But I don't put in any screws yet, right? No, I don't see any screws. No screws. Okay, then we have that. Are they the same? Yeah, they're the same. Oh god. Oh, I dropped one. Shit. So we slide it in here. Yeah, and then just kind of like activates that as a lever. Cool. Let me quickly go under my... Tony, responding to you in a second. Go on my table and grab the piece. 1 second. And I want to watch the live stream, but I'm 7.3. Yeah, well, you can watch both, and at some point you catch up. But happy you like it. I guess like you can actually skip like some parts, like I think like 7, 8 or something. I was just doing like until now. I was just doing like wiring. This took me forever. Like I did not expect the wiring to take like so long. I'm still not sure if I have everything right, so I'll definitely have to do like another round of checks tomorrow before powering the entire thing on. Well, I guess the camera doesn't want to cooperate anymore. Joe, is this extruder? Yes, this is the extruder. Like these are 2. Actually, so these are the 2 extruders. They're like mirrored basically, and they'll go left and right on the printer. And yeah, so basically dual extrusion. That's also the reason why I have 2 main boards, because the normal like main boards that usually are used by the enders, like I have the SKR Mini, they only have 5 stepper drivers, 4 stepper drivers, X, Y, Z, and then the extruder. But I now have 2 extruder motors. There it goes. So that's the reason why I have 2 main boards, so I can drive 2 extruders. And I created the part for the stealth burner that replaces basically the clockwork extruder and just is like a Y splitter for the bone tubes. It's very enjoyable to keep on the second monitor while doing fusion work. Yes, that's actually also like when I watch like other build streams, I always like work on the side, like either building like something or like coding. And just having it on the side is like really cool entertainment. Yeah, I'm not quite sure like what to do with that. Like I really want to finish the extruder, but it's also like kind of like stupid without the main camera. I'm thinking, can I? Like this is my iPhone. I'm thinking that I can use this here. I just quickly have to grab like a adapter, but this can run wirelessly. And then I can use my webcam for that. Clear like downgrade of quality, but give me like a second to grab some parts, and then we do like a live setup change. 1 second. So, little adapter here. Right. So instead of building printers, we're now building cameras. So it's almost as good, I think. Let's get this off here. Do we have a cable tie? Let's get those cables out of the way. Then let's grab this. Let's see. No, you don't see anything anymore. Not sure if it likes that. Okay, so one camera is back. There's some chance that OBS will crash in a second, so just if I'm gone, OBS crashed. Let's see. Why don't you want to work? Someone didn't like that I just unplugged it. Normally that works. Let me quickly try another tool. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Now we have one iPhone battery to complete this. So, magic. Then, this is where we left. So watching the build as my, I'm currently trying to decide between Switchwire or Ender 3 NG. I mean, like, if you have an Ender 3 laying around, it's a pretty cool build, to be honest. I don't know the Ender 3 NG, so take that with a grain of salt. It's a pretty cool build. Can't say yet how great it will print at the end, but it's a pretty cool build, and it's a clear like upgrade to the Ender, I think. Okay, back in business. So let's quickly check the manuals. So we are finally putting in some screws. Yeah, there's only one length that can do that. There's one. Two. Three. Four. Oh, there's one part missing here. Now the question is which side, because they're also mirrored. This one. And then this goes in here. Those most likely shouldn't do it too tight. Oh, there's definitely some movement now. Cool. Let's do this one more time. Okay, perfect. That looks good. Industry is a Core XY project on printables. Isn't? Oh, yeah, I remember. I've seen it. So it's not as tested as the Switchwire. Yeah, I mean, like also with this one, right? Like, every ender is a bit different. That's one thing. And there's so many like hardware options. Like for example, I still use the MicroSiwss all metal hotend. I still use the BLTouch, which are like a little bit like unusual hardware options, I guess. So for me, it's also like kind of like uncharted territory in some sense. Like also with the dual extrusion and the stealth burner, that's not really something that people do seemingly. So yeah, like let's say like this, the Voron 0 build I did was way easier than the Switchwire build. Although it's like not a beta thing anymore, it's still like significantly more difficult than like standard Voron build. I think Switchwire might be a good first to learn from. Yeah, definitely. Like as I said, like just now, like even this one is way more difficult than like a standard Voron build where you just follow the manual. Because like there's no manual here. That's one thing, right? Like, I mean, you watch the streams I did, like there are many things where I just like had to backtrack and like change or like figure out like, oh, that was the wrong order. So it's like way more difficult than like a printer you have a manual for. And then you just follow the, like basically what I do here now, right? That's kind of like, it's a bit of Lego level, right? Like the Voron manuals are really, really good. So you just follow the manual, you do what the manual says, and you are successful. But with the Switchwire or like Enderwire, like if you have Switchwire, it's most like the same quality of manual, I guess. Yeah, there's some learning. I assume for the Ender 3 NG, that's pretty much the same thing. I mean, the things like if you have a Core XY, it's also like pretty cool. I mean, here you still have the bad slinger. That's kind of like a downside, but I think it's still a cool printer. For me, it's not supposed to be like a speed demon. The goal is just to have like a cool printer, unique printer, I guess. And for me, the key feature is the dual extrusion. Am I missing a spring? I do miss a spring. Oh, I do miss a spring. Like there's supposed to be a spring here. I don't have a spring. And I wonder why I don't have a spring. I mean, I most likely lost it somewhere. Let's see if I find it again. I mean, I do have other springs we can use worst case. Let me quickly check my cable in the box. We will need those. Second. No, I don't see a loose spring here. Okay, now it's the point where I can check back the video recording to see if I had a spring when I unpacked the hardware kits or when it was gone from the start. That's the benefit of streaming. You can watch back. Yeah, looks like a lot of trial and error, but that's somewhat fun. Dual extruder will be cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the thing, like, it's like 10 streams now, and I think like my average stream is like 3-ish hours. So yeah, 30 hours already, which is I think more than I used for the V0. But yeah, it's kind of like fun. Like, I still enjoy this build, and dual extrusion will be really cool. Actually, one of the first things I want to do is I want to reprint the tool head with the dual color. Yeah, but I think I lost the spring. Okay, let's ignore the spring for now and move on. So they tell us to install. Yeah, I'll now do the same mistake again. So these are those ECAS 04 Bowden collets to connect the bond tubes, and for reasons beyond me, they have this blue thing. What I did for the stealth burner already, and what I will do now here is I'll make it black, because this blue does not fit my print, the printer color scheme. But it's way easier to do before you push in, like they usually come like in parts for some reason. And it's way easier to do the black paint while it's still out. Because we can also kind of like do the sides here a bit. Okay, let's quickly let that dry. And at some point I stole one of those from this kit for the V0 actually. So I ordered like a bag of more, so we have to kind of like steal it back. Running stealth burner on my Ender 3 Pro now, and I really want dual color. Yeah, like the thing is like, I mean like multicolor in general is really cool, but I think like dual color, like the step from single to dual is like what is like the coolest. Like if you later have like 4 colors instead of 2, like that's nice, but doesn't really like change a lot. But dual color is like really beneficial. Actually, like when I started printing, I was printing at my workplace and we had an Ultimaker S3, I think, and that one has dual color. And it's like one of the things that I was like really missing when I then bought my own printer, like which was this Ender 3, that you could only print like a single color. Like this was really like disappointing to me. And it's not even about colors, but like you can just like print really cool stuff. Like for example, like if you have if you use PTG as support material for PLA or the other way around, it's really easy to peel off the supports because PTG and PLA don't bond with another. The supports peel off like really well. It's like one thing that I really like to do. It's like just using PTG and PLA. But there's also like water soluble support material, which is kind of like dope. So if you have like supports in places where you don't get them out later, you can just throw the part in water and then like the support material just dissolves, which is pretty cool. So like But it's also like, of course, like if you print like multicolor parts, which is like the obvious one, but still there's a lot more stuff you can do with that. Okay, we'll just use anything to kind of like push this in. No, this does not want to go in. Here we go. Let's put this little clip back on. And then this goes here, I guess. Yeah, must be. Oh God. That's really hard to get in. I'm not sure if it's my printed part or... Now look at it, we could also have like made the gray part black, but not as atrocious. Not as atrocious as the blue one, but it's fine. And then like the blue that you now see in the center, basically that where will the bottom tube will cover that, of course. Hey, I heard about using this combo for sports. Yeah, it's really magical. It's really magical. I'm actually not sure why it now tell us to push this in, because looking at those parts, like if you loosen those screws, wait. Yeah, exactly. Like this is like squeezing the collet in here. But if you just don't tighten the screws so much, it's much easier to fit. Push this top part in. Here we go. I really don't like those. I mean, itself, like once installed, I really prefer those over this other style of collets. But it's quite some pain to put them together. Okay. Then, I mean, slowly starts to look like an extruder. Step by step. Yes. Now we add the motor. Now the moment of truth. And I really hope that the shaft is long enough. If not, I have to order more motors. Yeah, so those motors come from the Ender, of course. And some streams ago, when we installed the AB motors, we actually figured out that the shaft of the, like those were supposed to be the AB motors, but the shaft wasn't long enough. Like the shaft didn't reach the belt path. So basically we used the motors that were supposed to go on the M4 extruders for the AB motors, and those are now the motors that were supposed to be the AB motors. So I'm a bit curious to see whether this works out. Also, like looking at this now, there are two grub screws here. I did only see one grub screw on the other part. Oh, but I don't, oh. One. Oh, yeah, it's a completely different part. Ignore me. Ignore me. And here we have two, of course, but it, yeah. Man. I'm not the fastest sometimes. Okay. Then let's just throw on some thread locker. Where did I put thread locker? Yep. Oh, let's also do it quickly for the other one, which is here. And then we have to hope that we can move the pulleys up high enough that we can align everything. This is kind of the max we can do. Let's see. So, do they have any orientation for the motor? Not really, but I think down would make the most sense. Oh yeah, but yeah, it's enough. We can manage, but barely. Barely. Let me quickly check what orientation they want us to install it on later. Because I'm a bit confused. Oh, I see. So my logic was basically the filament goes in from the top and then comes out on the bottom, but it's the exact opposite. You feed from the bottom and then the filament comes out from the top. That's why you don't have a collet on the bottom. Okay. So that means we install like this, and then the motor cable should go to the bottom, I guess. So let's kind of assume this orientation here. Okay. And then we have slightly longer screws to adjust this in some way. Let's see how we need to adjust this. Quickly do the same here. But the problem I see is that I have only one of the long screws left and one of the short ones. So I'm not sure if I lost it again or if they just packed the wrong screw. And M3 washers we also need. So basically they tell us to put the pulley on. Stepper motor selection depends on your mounting requirements. Yeah, that's fine. Screw slightly loose. Now basically it's M3X16, which is the longer ones, which we only have one. And M3 12, which is the short one. Okay, that's a shame, but I think we can fix that. Let's quickly see what we have in our kit. That's 20. $40. $16. Here we go. Always good to have some random screws. What I don't have, I mean, they come with those like white washers. But again, I'm not sure if I lost them. Let's quickly add those thingies before I lose them. There's only 3, which matches the numbers of screws. So I'm not sure if it's like 2 different kits and one kit only came with 1 long screw. But yeah, I mean, M3 washers I have, so let's just use normal M3 washers instead of those plastic ones, and the plastic ones I can just put in my stash. Sorry, Tony, I was like not looking at the chat. Do you have any good ideas what I can use the older Ender 3 display pins for? I'm running headless with Clipper at the moment. I do not know. Like, I'm also running headless, and this display connector is a bit of a mystery to me, to be honest. Most likely with Clipper you can do some magic and use them for something else, but I don't know. That's really like I don't understand how those displays work. So that's one thing I don't know. But I would assume that they are in the end just random I/O pins. Best to check the pin out. Like, I'm not sure what mainboard you have, but if you check the SKR mini pin out, for example, you mean this connector here, right? The EXP1, right? I mean, you see here what it is. So you have a ground and a 5-volt connection here. That doesn't matter, right? It should be like, because this one is pin compatible to the Creality board because it can run the same display. The pins must be the same. Or like, maybe because here it says PB8, maybe for you it's like something else. But you get also pin out boards. You also get pin outs for, oh god, wait 1 second. I need to fix my headset. All the batteries are dying on me. All the batteries are dying. So just check like for the Creality board, because they're open source, there should also be like a pin out. And then you can just check those pins here and you can use them in the Clipper config. Like ground and 5-volt is fixed, of course. RX-TX you most likely cannot use easily. But PB PA5, PA15, this looks like normal pins, so you could use them for something. Yeah, so the pinout is the same. So for example, ground with 5 volt will be the same, but what those are might be slightly different. And yeah, you can never have enough random screws. I have like a full screw thing here. That's one thing I learned already quite early. Never enough screws. Actually, like I ordered like a full like bag of screws for like 40-50 euros. Just like M3, M2.5, and that wasn't that much. Maybe it was 30 euros. Like M3, M2.5, and M2 screws, mainly M3. They are all socket head like this, and they're black. But I use them for every project. There are also like plenty in this machine already. It's quite useful to just have that. So let's add washers. And then we have one random screw left, which is amazing. So, okay, so we don't tighten them yet, as they tell us to. Oh, I think this is to tension the belt. Interesting. Oh, we should have also... Can we still do it? Yeah, we can. I mean, in the end, the height really doesn't matter, right? It just needs to be the same level. Let's do one first. Yeah, it's the tension. If you straighten it out, it tensions the belt. Okay. Let's tighten them a bit more so it doesn't bend. Yeah, okay. Then looking at this, I mean, there's a lot of wiggle room here that we have. I think we can put the pulley of the motor a tiny bit down, which is great. Yeah. Something like this. Oops. Just checking that the belt is somewhat like in the middle of everything. Let me make sure that one of the grub screws is on the flat spot. Just do that again. If there's a flat spot on the shaft, and I want one of the grub screws to be on that. Flat spot. Okay, so this one just put it all the way down. Okay, and then let's throw this on. And then I guess we can just tension that by just pushing that straight. It's a bit bending, I think. Yeah, it is. Maybe a bit too much tension then. Yeah, now it's better. Did we tighten both grub screws? Yeah. But it's kind of like turning a bit, like it's directly against the top. Let's quickly do the second one and see how the second one works out. Let's start by just tightening the big wheel. Okay. You can kind of align this. Yeah, some smart designs on parts. Kudos to the team that designs the Switchwire Voron. I'd say, yeah, it's really amazing. Like, it seems like they think of a lot of things, and you can really feel that. But there's also like a lot of iterations, I think, like where it just like improve things over time. Okay, it's also tension it a bit, but not too much. So, yeah, I mean, the belt kind of like has a tendency to run up. It's also like here, if I turn it a bit, like it just like drifts upwards against the top of the pulley here. Which I'm not sure if it's necessarily like a problem. I don't think so. I would just like lower this pulley like a tiny bit because now it's also like rubbing against the top of the plastic part, which I don't want. Let's loosen it a bit. And just push it down a tiny bit. So hard to press by now on the C4E3 Switchwire kit. Well, what's stopping you? I mean, I can't tell you if it's a good kit or not, but it will definitely be more pain-free than what I do here. I think it's a good price. Like, I'm not sure how much it is at the moment. But I think it was like around 320, 340 euros or something like this, which is as much as I paid for this all, but includes entire like enclosure, right? I don't have an enclosure, and I didn't buy a hotend. I didn't buy the probe. That's quite a good price compared to like buying self-sourced parts. Cool. Yeah, I would call this a success. So we have 2 M4 extruders. To be honest, let's mount them. The only problem is that we need to check what screws we can use. One of the things I'm running short on are short M5 screws. I do have the M5 by 12, but they always bottom out in the V slot. But what we can do is we can use like a single washer here. Which I think should already be enough. To not bottom out. Yeah. So we can install like this. One M5 washer. And then the M5 by 15. I did buy for 430 including printed parts. Just finishing up. Oh, that's amazing. Including printed parts. That's really nice. How was the quality of the printed parts, Rick? Building a table hobby woodworker for a customer, that money is going straight to E3 builds. Well, that's one way to like finance your hobbies with other hobbies. And I need one more of those M5. And then what I luckily have plenty of, I think, yes, are those M5 hammerhead nuts. So that's good. So let's just put them aside for now. Oh. And get our Switchwire in action here. Oh, wait, let me... This was not supposed to move. So I'm not quite sure how high or low I'm supposed to mount that. To be honest, I think like lower is a bit better. Not sure. This is most likely something we just need to find out. Really good print quality, nice. Sweet, are the other mechanical parts decent quality? Seems like such a good price, but Seaboard seems to be pretty decent on kits. Yeah, like all the Seaboard kits are just super crazily priced. I'm not quite sure how that works. And you definitely don't get like the same quality as like if you have an LDO kit or something, I think, but still it's like seems like usually like good deal. Okay. I'm just randomly throwing this somewhat in the middle. Show you. My idea is to have a spool mounted here. So most likely it needs to be a tiny bit higher. So basically I want to have the spool holder directly under the extruder left and right. That was my... Let's just do it like this. My idea. Turn this around. Do the same thing here. Quality of the parts seem I had a problem though with the wire harness. 24 volt and ground were switched. Oh, that's that's bad. That's the reason why I have to double check mine. Exactly for stuff like that. Quality of the parts are really good. Matching LDO, I think. Okay. Lots of genuine parts like valves and on-ramp. Oh, that's nice. But also for my for my LDO V0 builds, I actually had like incorrect wiring. Like it wasn't like terrible deal because it was just the motor wires they were switched. So basically motor was running backwards. But still, like even with the high quality kits, like it can happen that you have like stuff that doesn't fit together. So yeah, I guess building your own printer is still a little bit more, somewhat of like a challenge, even if you have a kit. So quickly see, let me check. It's like something like this. Not perfectly exactly same height, but close enough. Can I get this in one shot? So we have two M4 extruders, left and right. And then basically here you see the two stubby thingies. Adding it to the cart and waiting for the money is always a good approach. My entire Amazon shopping cart is like full with stuff that I might want to buy at some point, and sometimes it tells you, oh yeah, it got cheaper. Cool. So this is really cool. I'm quite happy that we got to this point. I'm kind of like wondering whether we should do the bone tube. Let's see, but I'm kind of wrapping up then. I think that's a good point to cut off. They also have warehouse in Poland. Mine came from China like 8 days. Yeah, I mean, like, the AliExpress shipping is super crazy by now anyways. Like if you order something like the 10-day delivery thingy, that's 10 days max. I never had it taking more than 10 days. My pork left out a 3 running clipper on an old laptop with a Ubuntu clipper. An Android tablet is clipper screen really wants an update. That sounds like a really cool setup actually. Let's see. How long does it need to be? I'm not quite sure. I just push this in. So if we just do it like this, I don't think this has to be like super long. It has to be longer than this, okay? Okay, I think just add like a tiny bit. This length is what we will go for. Let's just cut the same length again. And then I just like let this stretch out a bit because I was like, I should have like opened the roll a bit earlier. And it south corner face looks nice. Yes, it looks nice, but I want to print it again on this machine with dual color. I actually think about adding a Nomi display here, at which point I have to reprint the front. So, I'm not quite sure if this is the best way to run the modem. Maybe it would have been better to have like a loop on top here where it like comes through, for which it's now too short. So this, I regret cutting this right now. I think it would have been better to have this like loop around the back and then come together from the top. Silvercrit enclosure, one of the main reasons about it. Yeah, exactly. Like I do not have an enclosure because I mean I could have gotten the standard Switchwire enclosure. There were some kits, but the enclosure kit alone was like with shipping like 200 euros or something, which it's just like not worth the money. And I got this those two panels and the bottom panel custom cut from a company here. And they were 70 euros, those three panels. So basically the total cost of this upgrade, I have all the parts in the video description. The total cost of this upgrade was like 340 euros, I think. 20, something around this thing. But basically 70 of that was just those three plates. Yeah, Tony, the plastic, like the entire enclosure comes with the Seaboard kit. Like everything, like the doors and the side panels, the back panels, everything. It's completely enclosed, which is really cool. Yeah, I think I cut the bottom tube too short. Yeah. Okay, well. It will work for now, but I'll have another roll, so I can fix it. Cool, but I think I can't really zoom out more. It looks like a really cool printer now. So that's quite cool. I kind of like play with the thought about having like some LED stuff going on here. But that's then like once it's printing and everything, we can start playing around with that stuff. I'm really happy that we have now the extruders on. And way too short modem tubes. So hey, that's also something. Cool, but then I think from my side, I would just cut off here. The next time, oh, you know what, let's quickly run the wires for the motors. Let's do that, and then I'll call it a day, because we didn't do that yet. Let's quickly do that. So we can use the clips, but I'm slowly running out of those clips. I have 5 left. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's even better to run them like on the back side here. You just need to find like an opening to kind of like wiggle this in. But I think it's nice if it's like here on. Oh, you don't. You don't see it. There's a chat in the way. Just here, and then oh yeah, we can actually pass it like below here, and then we can pass it in with the bad cables. Let me see if I can kind of like squeeze that through that hole. Again, something, if you do it earlier, it's easier. Here we go. Okay, so this one is fine, so we can just pull it in. And I think on the other side it's even easier. Because... Oh. Where did I put the other... Oh, it fell out. Oh god. I didn't pay attention. I mounted the motor upside down. Oh well. I really need to print the cable chain. Well, I'm not sure if the printed ones actually work that well. And the things they're so cheap. It's like, sometimes I'm always wonder whether it's like worth the money to like print something versus buy something. Let's just rotate that 180 degrees. And put that back in. Because like the cable chains I bought, like, I mean, it was a set of 3 for the Switchwire. They were like €8. So the thing is, like, if you, I mean, like, it doesn't really need that much filament, I guess. But yeah, sometimes like you can print stuff, but then like use so much filament and time that's like just cheaper to to buy it. Okay. Orientation fixed. Let's plug it in. These are the last of my magic clips. I need to print some more, I guess. And then this can just go in here. Cool. Let's flip this over again. This panel is €30 basically. So the Seaboard kit is a pretty damn good deal for that. Let's see. So I see one cable here, which is way too long. Okay. And the other one I do see poking out here, which also is way too long. Ah, what a shame. I mean, this side I could recrimp. If I'm bothered enough by the cable being too long, I can recrimp this side. But for now, let's just plug it in. And I guess here we can just put it in the same cable clip as the other one. If they want to share. That's super small sheet. Yeah, I mean, it's laser cut. And the thing is, like, the panel itself was like, I think like each of them, of the top panels was like €8. And the bottom one was like maybe 10, 12. But they also had like a minimum, like the startup cost basically to like process your order. And that's €25 or something. So the total cost with shipping was like, yes, close to 65, I think. Something like that. And let me just switch the cable down there. So yeah, like if I would have ordered the entire like thing around, I didn't even put it in, but most likely would have been like 150 or something. So this one, I'll just kind of like sneak into the cable channel and run some loop here. I might very well just shorten that cable. Because it's really just a JST connector, which I now have plenty experience in crimping. So we can just custom fit this cable. But for now, it goes in here. Just left laser on Ender. Yeah, I don't think it will cut this size. But actually I want a laser cutter. That would be really cool. At the moment I just don't have the space to do that. Because yeah, you can maybe tell, but I'm basically sitting in my living room. Like this is my kitchen and this is my living room. And I don't want to do that. Like laser cutting in your living room is maybe not the best thing. I really want the cable organizer. Yes, I will upload it. I made it like this week. I'll upload it. I'll just want to make sure like that it's working before I publish it. Well, printing is fine because it's way less dirty, right? Like maybe I have the wrong impression of laser cutting, but I mean like CNC is like complete disaster, but I also think laser cutting like creates a lot of dust, right? Maybe that's, I mean, most like not for plexiglass, that's correct. Okay, I have incomplete knowledge there, but my incomplete knowledge was like more dirty than 3D printing. Milling is a catastrophe. Like I would never do that in my flat, like no matter the room. Oh! I found the spring. It rolled under the printer. Let's quickly add that. Cool. Now it's operational. I mean, again, like the Voron tube is a bit of a mishap. Like sometimes you should think twice and cut once. Now I think twice and cut twice. But it works. Like it won't snag. So then basically, I think this was like really productive stream. So what I will do now between streams is I will double check my wiring, especially everything that has to do with volts, 24 volts separate from 5 volts. That I didn't mess that up. Just like we'll check that there's no shorts anywhere. I'll quadruple check my AC wiring because AC wiring always freaks me out. So that's something I will just do tomorrow, like just like with a cup of tea, just double checking all the wiring. And also like, my concern is just like because I crimped the entire connector here and I soldered the board that I just fucked up somewhere, which is something I do, as you can see here. So I'll do that, but then technically, right now we are in a state where we can plug it in and flip the switch, and then hope that nothing explodes. We do have to check the belt tension as well. Like this is not tensioned at all, so that's something we need to check. But then technically we can like slowly start printing. Yeah. It's magic smoke moment. I had too often in my life. I told the story before on stream, but so this printer has an SKR Mini E3 and an SKR Mini E2, and somewhere over there I have a SKR E3 V3, E3 V2, and I have a SKR Mini E3 V1. Why do I have 3 Ender mainboards and 1 Ender? Well, this one doesn't have working fan headers anymore. That one doesn't have working fan headers anymore. I killed all my fan headers by shorting them out. So, but yeah, now I reuse the board. This board does the fans. This does basically 2 stepper motors. But yeah, lots of magic smoke. Yep. Okay, cool. But then, I'm hungry. I need some dinner. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. And sorry for that camera mess. But I think this works also like rather well. That's how I did my first streams I did with the iPhone. Yeah. Then next time let's plug it in. Like my goal next time would be to have some form of print. Some test cube or benchy or something. Cool. Now I'll need to push this in a bit more this side. Cool. Perfect. Then thanks for tuning in and see you next week. Bye.